Okay, hello, hey mom, hey dad, YouTube channel watchers. Well, what do we have for us today? What do you think, Elijah? What do we have?
Big old branch.
Big old branch? All right, what we have today, we've had some pretty crazy weather here in Georgia recently. We have this big old branch going all the way down to the ground. It used to be way up there in the sky, providing some shade. It's really about all these trees are good for. I think it's called the catawba tree. This is named after the caterpillar that goes on every year and eats the leaves. And so we're going to break out the chainsaw today. Now, if you're anything like me, you really like chainsaw videos. I mean, I could really watch chainsaw videos quite a bit if I wanted to. Don't have much time to do that, but I love watching chainsaw videos. But the first and most important thing on any chainsawing activity is safety. So I'm assessing the tree here. I'm walking around the tree here, assessing it to see what happened. You can see right there, it kind of split. I don't know why it split. It's probably under the weight of its own, under the pressure of its own weight. And it just kind of crashed to the ground. The wind probably brought it to that point, and now I have to take care of it. So I'm gonna have to see here in a second if it's laying on the ground. I'll make sure I'm being safe when I'm doing this, because this branch probably weighs a lot. So let's see what happens. All right, I have my MS-271 still here. I'm gonna make sure the bar and chain oil gets filled up and the fuel gets filled up as well. I already know the chain is sharpened because I only used it a little bit last time. I sharpened it right before that. This will be our workhorse today. All right, the next bit of safety is all this stuff I'm going to put on myself. I have gloves, and the left glove has extra padding on this side in case the chainsaw kicks back and hits your hand. I got head, ear, and eye protection all in one in this helmet, and I have leg protection. So we have all this stuff in order to be safe and protect ourselves. Some people seem to have this impression that being dangerous or having a lack of safety on things like this is manly or macho or strong. Personally, I think such things are foolish. As a man, I want to be wise in all my decisions and all my ways. And it's not wise, in my opinion, to just grab a chainsaw and start going without any kind of protection for your hands, your eyes, your ears, your head, your legs. I mean, listen, if I make one mistake, you know, I'm a finite man, I can make mistakes no matter how good I get with a chainsaw. If I make a mistake, it could cost me a lot. It could cost me a leg, a hand, an eye, an ear. It could cost me my life, ultimately. And not only is the life God's given me precious to me, and I want to keep living it the way He wants me to and be careful about these things, my life is important to many other people, especially my wife and my children, who are depending upon me to provide for them. So don't be foolish. It's not manly or macho to do this kind of work with any kind of protection. Okay, so we're gonna make sure we look for places of pressure, whether downward or upward, and be careful around those places. The branch is heavily weighted upon the ground. That means it can release some upward pressure when you cut it. And as far as cutting it back here, if I'm cutting it on this side of the tree, it could fall on top of my saw that I have the wedges for. So we're going to start down here to be as safe as possible, and just keep an eye on things as we're cutting. Come around here. see all the downward pressure from that one branch. If I cut that one branch out, number one, it's going to try to collapse on top of my saw. And number two, that whole branch is going to be coming down upon me. All the other branches I cut off had no pressure upon them. They were really loose. That branch has pressure on it. So I got to figure out from here what I'm going to do next. I decided to cut the whole tree down because I don't want more branches falling down in the future. But you can see I didn't make a front cut like you normally would on a tree that's standing up straight to determine where it's going to fall. It's already falling that direction. It's not going to harm my fence or any creature, any power lines above, any structures. And so I made a back cut. It was already falling that direction. I was being very careful that the pressure wasn't going to pop that tree up and hit me in the face. Pop up and go backwards and hit me in the face. So I was being very careful, taking it slow, watching for the movement of the tree to make sure I'm being safe about it. Now the tree's on the ground. You see there's pressure on all the branches that are hitting the ground now. They're all going to have pressure on them. So I have to be careful how I buck the tree. Now I'm going to buck it. I'm cutting a tree that's already down, cut up into pieces. Either be put in the fire that we have by our pond, or just be burned to get rid of it. Okay, well now it's time to buck the tree. So we cut it down. Now it's time to start bucking it, and that means to cut it into pieces that are manageable, to move out of the way, whether I'm going to put it just on a burn pile, use it for outside bonfires, or whatever I'm going to use it for. I just want to make one safety point here. And so you have the chain brake right here, and you might have seen in the video earlier when I was cutting the tree down and cutting the branches off, that if I put it on the ground I would hit the chain brake. That means you push this forward. This is chain brake off. Look, the chain will move now. This is on. It won't move. And so if I have the machine on and I put it aside for a second, I'm putting that chain brake on, so someone can't come up to it and start using it, you know, start spinning, or someone hit. I mean, it's hard to hit this on accident, but you can hit an accident and start going too. Now, the chain brake, if the safety thing, is there for kickbacks. So if the chain brake's off, I'm doing my chainsaw business, and all of a sudden I hit something in the tree, and it kicks back. Instead of hitting my arm or hitting me, God forbid, in the head or the face, my hand is right where it's supposed to be. If it's on here like it's supposed to be, it's going to hit that chain brake and stop it from hitting me. That's a very important safety feature to have. Okay, now we're going to begin to buck the tree, cut in pieces like I said. My son got a hammer here, and we also have some wedges. And so I'm going to do the chainsawing. He'll do chainsawing soon eventually. It's not in this job. I'll be doing the chainsaw. He's be getting the branches out of the way and put them in a pile. And if some reason there's some pressure, I'm not paying good enough attention to the pressure on my chainsaw, and it pinches my chainsaw, I'll get one of the wedges, get the hammer in there to get my chainsaw out of there to relieve the pressure upon it, to pinch it. All right, so let's see what happens now. Get this tree out of the way. It's nice, you know, to have property. Nice to be a homesteader. That's kind of what we are. But responsibility comes with it, and sometimes these trees fall down and you got to deal with it. You can't just let it sit there as a hazard or danger to anyone who's walking near it. So let's get her done. What I'm trying to do, I want to make sure it's safe, so I'm trying to get all the stuff near my feet out of the way so I can have a clearer path for sure footing to cut these bigger pieces. See, that one has pressure on it, so I'm waiting for the end of that one. But all these branches here that we already have cut off don't have pressure on them. So I'm getting them out of the way to make my footing more safe, my surroundings more safe, to have more space to work on these bigger, thicker pieces that I'll probably use for bonfires. This stuff that I have over here that Eli's getting is gonna be burned normally. All right, now that basically all the limbing is done, basically all the irrelevant tree branches are off. A big pile here. About to go eat some breakfast. Come back out and we'll start the bucking. You can see the pile right here of all the tree branches Elijah got. And there's another pile over there. It may sound like there's still some limbs on there, but there really aren't. And there's some limbs right there. Had that whole branch under pressure. So in fact, I was cutting one branch over there that was under pressure, and as I was cutting down, I could begin to see this thicker branch pinch down upon my saw. I had to get it out of there real carefully, and I began to make that cut wider, and I began to cut from underneath too. So as you're doing that, making it wider on top, making it wider below, it gives you more room to relieve that pressure and to not pinch down on your saw. All right, more after breakfast. All right, well, breakfast is done. Now it's time to start bucking that tree up to get it out of the way, put it where it belongs. So part of the plan in bucking a tree up is you want to make sure it's going to be in the right size sections you want it to be in. For example, if you have a wood stove, you don't want to make it too big and won't fit in your wood stove. That wouldn't make any sense. So you figure out a way, figure out how big your wood stove is, or if you want to put it on a bonfire, how big you want it to be for over there so they'll fit in there the right way. And you start cutting it in those sizes. And then you can use the whole log later on in a fire. You get some kindling going, or you can split it into some kindling yourself. So for the rest of this section right here, go ahead and bring that thing out, Elijah. We're going to bring out what I call the log lifter. I don't know what it's called technically speaking. I'm going to lift the log, whatever log I'm cutting, up in the air so I can cut it quickly and easily. And the reason you do that, because you don't want to use your chainsaw and cut into the ground. You'll hit dirt, you'll hit rocks sometimes. That'll dull your saw, your chain on your saw. And I don't feel like stopping right now. I have to go sharpen my saw. So we're gonna lift it off the ground here in a minute. These 3 pieces I have, the main piece and the 2 small pieces, to cut them up without dulling my saw. I think my chainsaw's had enough for the day. I could go sharpen it, do some more, but that 1 piece left. I can do that a different day. You see we got it all fucked up, limbed. It's out of the way. And then soon, I don't know if you can see it. I will come over here. Actually, I'll just take you over there. How about that? All right, so this is what I was talking about. I'm gonna have to do this pretty soon. This one's a little more problematic. You see it's right over top of our pond. The roots are right on the edge of the pond. And a pretty hard storm we had recently is what knocked it over. But that's not the most problematic part of it. The most problematic part at this point, which I had got taken care of, is that over here, yeah, you can see them flying in and out. Eli, kind of stay back. Okay, I don't want you getting stung. Yeah. But you can, if you look close enough, you can see them flying in and out. It's a yellow jacket nest. And it was right here on the side of the hill of our pond here, which is not a problem. They weren't bothering me. I didn't bother them. But I'm gonna have a hard time taking care of this tree removal without first taking care of that. And yellow jackets are a swarming kind of bee. What I mean by that is that they'll sting you once, they'll leave some kind of pheromone in your arm or wherever they stung you, and they'll all just start stinging in that spot. And we don't want that. They don't lose their stingers like a honeybee does. Honeybee can sting them once and that's it. They can just sting over and over and over again. So it's gonna be problematic to remove this tree. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna try to figure it out. I don't think I can go out there on a boat and do it, because then the boat's moving while I'm chainsawing. That would seem kind of impossible. It might be possible. We'll see how that works out. I'm gonna go to YouTube University, watch some videos, read some articles, and try to figure it out. So stay tuned for that. It might not be coming next video, but soon after. I'll do this in a couple of days. Well, hopefully this was educational to you. You can see my family gets involved. Elijah, he's like my right-hand man. He's 14 years old, the oldest boy I have in the house now. My oldest son Malachi's out of the house. My second oldest son Matthew's out of the house. So he's my right-hand man now. It kind of went down. It was Malachi, then it was Matthew, now it's Elijah. Eventually, it'll be Seamus. But he'll be 9 pretty soon. So he's got a little ways to go. But you see them get involved. You probably even saw on the camera my little girl Delia get involved. She's 10 years old. And I'll tell you, I believe she's a harder worker than most adults. You see her getting there, lift up those logs, put them in the wheelbarrow. She's a hard worker. She's always right there. I would say Johnny on the spot, I guess Janie on the spot, to help out whatever way she can. And I'm really thankful for her. So we get involved. We try to stay as safe as we possibly can. I'm not a professional chainsawer, but I try to do the best I can to be safe and get the job done. God bless you. You guys have a good day. See you soon.